Are we live?
No, it's still not live. I'm just going to get back on.
It says in stream. No, we are live.
You should be live, yeah. Hold on. I'm getting back on. I'm just going to get back on. Don't end it.
I'll push live again.
Okay.
Look at your phone, see if I'm on. Can you see me?
Okay, so you are live. Let me see. I'm getting on Facebook now. You're not on Facebook. Oh, yeah, you're live now.
You can see me?
Yes.
Okay. I'm live. Okay. Hey, listen, I want you to like this page and share it. I've got some messages for you. I want to talk to you today. Okay? Like this page and share it. And the reason I want to talk to you, I want you to reach out to people that's positive, people that have goals and dreams. My message is not for everybody, okay? It's just for people who are looking to pivot and to reinvent themselves and to learn the skill sets that they need today in order to make it. And the reason I'm talking with you today, you know, we're in June. That means this is the fastest year in my life. If anybody else, if it felt like that time has picked up speed, if you feel like I feel, let me see some thumbs up or something up in here. This is different. I don't know, just because I'm 80, the time has picked up. I think that with all the stuff that's going on and all the chaos and the distractions, there are things that's happening that's throwing us off. First of all, the saturation of negative, toxic input on our minds has created a climate that's not mentally healthy for us. So I want to push back on that. I want to bring you something that for those of you who had goals and dreams and you had these big goals that you wanted to achieve this year. We're halfway there. So I want to talk to you, and I'm looking for people who can hear my voice, because everybody can hear my voice, who want to finish the year strong. And part of that process is being a part of a community of like-minded people. That's what I'm looking for, a community of greatness, a community of people that are hungry, okay? Can you feel a brother up in here? Up in here. If that's you, let me see some flames, because when you think about, we're halfway, and there's so many things that's been going on politically, in the media, things that's affecting us as we see them, and things that's happening to people personally, things happening to you, happening to me, and people we care about. It's a different kind of space. And so I'm going to share with you some things that I feel will be helpful to you. I want you to think about your goals and your dreams, and what did you decide at the beginning of the year when you made your New Year's resolution? What did you decide that you wanted to achieve? Now, let me just share this with you. I said that before this year is out, I will have a 34 waistline, okay? I'm kidding. Well, I got a 43 right now. I'm on point. I'm upping my game, because I want you to have a game plan for your health, number one. Because if you don't have your health, you can't do anything, okay? But with your health, I just decided I'm going to get a six-pack before the year's out, okay? Can you feel a brother up in here, up in here? I'm calling forth those things that be not as though they were. But in addition to that, I have some things in terms of business I want to do. I'm going to be doing more personal appearances. Why, Les? It's one thing to see me on your computer, on your phone. It's something else to be in the room. And so there are places that I just want to go. I decided that as I look at my life and look at where I am and what I want to do, I want to connect with people that people who've been listening to me since they were little teeny weenies. I had a guy tell me, he said, hey man, he said, I used to be in my car, in my father's car, and he would be playing you and I would be listening to you. Then another person told me, hey, I was at the unemployment office in Atlanta and they played your motivational videos on a television there. And then I have somebody else that said, hey, I was in college and they played your motivational messages. And some of you have been listening to me back when there were cassettes, okay? Okay, I still got some cassettes myself. So what I want to do is I want to share with you. I'm going to be in Maryland, and at the Dream Center. The Dream Center, it's 4111 Deer Park Road in Randallstown, Maryland. Okay, that's the Dream Center. You can go to their website and get tickets, and I'm going to share with you what we're going to be dealing with. One of it is how to make your life AI proof. What do you mean by that? Artificial intelligence is replacing a lot of jobs. There's no such thing as job security. So this is a new space. And so when things are changing, there are people who have the ability to win, the ability to be successful, but there's something that's missing. You know what it is? They don't know what they don't know, and they think they know. I remember hearing a lecture by Bob Proctor, and he says, what you don't know costs you. He says, ignorance is costly. He was right. There are people say, what you don't know can hurt you. Listen, what you don't know can keep you broke. What you don't know can kill you, can destroy your dreams and your career. And this guy was speaking at this conference, and it was a turning point for me. Have you ever had a turning point where you heard something, say, wait a minute, that you've heard it again and again and again, and then you heard it and you heard it with new ears? That happened for me. And this guy said, how many of you are earning between $3,000 to $5,000 a month? I raised my hand along with other people. And he said, the only reason that you're earning between $3,000 to $5,000 a month is that you haven't learned how to earn that in an hour. He said, you got to ask yourself the question, what is your ignorance costing you? Now I looked at this guy, I said, hey, he puts his pants on one leg at a time, just like I do. If he can do it, I can do it. I'm that kind of person, okay? And I thought about it. Listen to me. This is a time that you don't want to settle. This is a time that you want to be in charge of your career. You want to be in charge of your own economy. You want to be able to call your own shots. If you feel the way that I feel, let me see some flames. I can look at the computer and I can see if I'm talking to the right audience. So I'm going to share some things with you that's very important. For those of you in the Randallstown area where the Dream Center is, I'm going to be there, and let me share with you why you should come. If you have goals and dreams that you want to achieve, something I'm going to do very special for those of you, and it's on the screen how you can register and get your ticket. When you register today, make sure you give them your email. Why, Les? Because I'm going to send you some motivational material that's valued at $500. So that, because I can't give you everything that I've got in just one presentation. Faith comes by hearing and hearing and hearing. So I think that it's incumbent upon me. Evil prevails when good men and women do nothing. It's incumbent upon me to do the things that I can to help people who have a mindset for what it is that I teach. And there are a lot of people failing today who have the capacity to win, but they're trying to open up new doors of opportunity in this golden age with an old mindset. The things that I'm going to share with you will help you to develop the millionaire mindset. It's very important. It's a different era. It's easier now to make it than ever before. And ever before, in spite of all the stuff that's going on and they're trying to turn back the hands of time. Listen, we've been through some stuff. I've seen this picture before. I'm 80. These are chumps. They have nothing on you. Trust me on this. If you just listen to me, focus, and I want you to think about this and write this down and put it someplace that you can see it. Focus on controlling the controllables. What do you mean by that? There are times we get so focused on things that we can't do anything about. You want to focus on those things that you can deal with. You want to watch and consume information that can expand your mind, that can make you feel good, that can overpower the pre-programming that's in us, that's dictating our lives unconsciously, and we don't even know it. Studies indicate between the ages of 0 and 7, the things that we see, our minds are sponges. The environment that we're in, the people that we're around, the conversations that we hear help to form the vision that we have of ourselves, our self-image, and the choices and the habits that we develop. Here's something to keep in mind. We develop habits, and our habits create our reality. And so there are things that we pick up unconsciously, don't even know it, not even aware of it, because environment, it matters. I had to leave Miami and Liberty City. I had to leave there to accomplish the goals that I wanted to accomplish. That sometimes you can have a very talented person who have all kind of gifts and things going for them, and they can be in the wrong position on the job, or they be in the wrong area of life where the people around them has stifled their growth and they don't even know it. And I do a lot of reading. And so when I think about, and people are asking me constantly, how did you become who you are? How'd you do it? Well, it wasn't easy, but there's a process that it's duplicatable. And part of the process is being focused on keeping the main thing the main thing. That's what you want to do. Like this stage of my life, my goal is I have an anti-nursing home strategy. Okay, listen, because you go to the nursing home and then you go to the cemetery. No, my goal is being independent, taking care of myself, exercising, using my mind, not being a burden to my children or my grandchildren. That's that. You got to be intentional about this thing called life, because life be lifing. I'm telling you, I called for a friend the other day. I hadn't seen him in a long time. I was strolling through my telephone and I called and say, hey, let me talk to Marvin. Say, hey, this is Les Brown. I said, yeah, I recognize your voice. Yeah. May I speak to Marvin? Oh, Marvin's gone. He's gone? Yeah. What do you mean? Gone where? He's dead. Whoa. You know what I realized? Everybody don't make 80. Don't make it. I mean, Luther didn't make it, and Michael Jackson, and Prince, and so many people, Barry White. So many people don't make 80. This is an elite area up in here. The life expectancy of the average American, I think it's around 73 or 74. So I'm in overtime up in here. But to me, life is about being active. Life is about being engaged. Life is about live full and die empty. And so I want to say to those of you that can hear me that this is your time. I want you to think about what is it that you want, and I want you to think about one major thing, because I'm going to tell you how to do it, that you want to accomplish before the year is out. I want you to think about it. First, in terms of your health. They say, and I love this quote, a person with their health have 1,000 dreams, but a person without their health have only one, and that's to get better. When I was diagnosed with 4th stage cancer, that's all that I focus on. That's why I received this award from Cancer Centers of America, the 39-year 4th stage cancer conqueror. This is an award of perseverance. I'm here because of God's grace and mercy. And I'll never forget, and I have the presentation. When I was diagnosed, I must have been lost weight. I got down to 170 pounds. And I did a lecture called You Are More Powerful Than Cancer. And the people who were in the studio at the time, I was coaching someone on how to present themselves and bring their personality through on the camera. And they said, "Can you give us an example?" And I said, "Yes." I said, the guy said, "Well, what would you talk about?" And then I just heard in my mind, "Les Brown, you're more powerful than cancer." And just then I spoke on that. And the guy told me to just keep going. I was just supposed to speak for like 5 or 6 minutes to give this person an example of how to bring in humor and use quotes and tell their story to create a committed listening. But he kept, the camera person who owned the studio kept telling me to continue. I spoke for around 45 minutes, and afterwards I found out his wife had breast cancer and she'd given up. The doctors had told her to get her affairs in order. And he wanted her to see that, and she's still here. See, your mindset is very important. You have to protect your mind. This is the time, and I want you to write this down. You want to put yourself on a mental diet. Why, Les? Because there are things that nothing can get in except through your eyes, watching it, and your ears. And so I make it my business to put myself on a mental diet. I only listen to things that can inspire me, things that can expand my vision of myself, things that I can learn and upgrade my skills. This is a place where we have to reskill and retool and reset our lives. Things have changed. And so now you have to adapt to the change that's taking place. And part of that process is having mental clarity of what you want. That's why I want you to think about what is it you want, that at the end of this year, I'm going to give you a game plan how you can do that. It's going to be several conversations that you can say, I did it. I did it. I made that happen. I want you to think about that goal, that resolution you made that you forgot about 2 weeks later, okay? So let me share with you what's important now. Number one, your brand, your impact, the goal and dream that you have for yourself, that you are the one, you are it. I remember I did a presentation the first time in the early part of my career for Procter & Gamble. And everybody there, they had PowerPoint presentations. This is early on, right? I mean, talking about 53 years ago. And I had a cardboard visual aid. I didn't have any electronic equipment. And so I went in the bathroom and I had this rolled up cardboard visual aid with all my little scratches, my little etches on there, and all the little information. And I was embarrassed to go in there with that. And I went in that bathroom and listen to me, what I'm about to say. This is major. I talked to myself. I said, Les Brown, you have got to make this happen. You didn't come all the way here to be intimidated by people who have things that you don't have. They're PowerPoint presentations. You know this. You know this. This is your area, how to make it against all odds. You know who you are. You were born in an abandoned building with your twin brother in Miami, Florida. Your mother put you in foster care. Dorothy Bell Rucker from Gainesville, Georgia. And Mamie Brown came in and said, I'll take him. You were labeled educable mentally retarded. You were put back from the 5th grade to the 4th grade. You fell again in the 8th grade at Booker T. Washington High School. And look at you now. You can do this. You can get this contract. Procter & Gamble's a big company. You need this on your resume. Make it happen. See, sometimes you got to talk to yourself. It might be the most important conversation you ever have. See, most of our self-talk, according to psychologists, be ye not conformed to this world, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Most of us are acting out on automatic the stuff that we picked up in life. And when I went in there before this panel that had to make the decision who would get the contract after everybody else went in there, they looked at me, Mr. Brown, I said, yes. Where's your PowerPoint presentation? We don't see a projector or anything, sir. Where's your PowerPoint presentation? And I said, I am the PowerPoint. They said, oh, several of them grunted. I did the presentation and I got it. I took no prisoners and eat the wounded. I got that. I took the butter from the duck. I got that contract. And so this place where we are with efforts that are being designed to systematically exclude us, with all this stuff that's going on, given where we are right now, that we have access to infinite information. Listen to me. We were born and preserved for such a time as this. This is a time for birthing new businesses. This is a time for you to take your skills, your knowledge, and your ideas and make them become real. How do you do that? By focusing on your dream, by focusing on the things that you control, by focusing on what are you going to do with the time that you have left. I remember Joe Madison, the Black Eagle. People would call in and talk to Joe and tell them all of their problems, that Joe Madison would ask the question, what are you going to do about it? And that's the main thing. See, there's anybody can criticize. There's never been a statue erected to a critic. Let me share something with you. You can see me, I can't see you, but here's what I know about you based upon my own experience. You have something special. You have greatness in you. You have the ability to do things that you don't even know. I'm telling you what I know. No one could have told me, given my beginning. I didn't even know who my birth father or mother were until just about 2021. If you go online and put in Les Brown surprise, Les Brown 2021 surprise, for the first time I saw a picture of my father. They called him Doc Oliver out of Gainesville, Georgia, and my mother, Dorothy Bell Rucker. In 2021, here I am, 80, all right? And so what happened, I just saw that, they came down from Gainesville and went to Jackson Memorial Hospital when she went into labor. And that time, February 17th, 1945, Jackson Memorial Hospital didn't accept Black patients. And they said, no, you can't come here. And so they drove around and found an abandoned building over there in Liberty City on 62nd Street and 17th Avenue, and found a way to get in. And she gave birth to me and my twin brother on the floor. This thing called life. You can't figure this thing out. And so, but who would have thought that one of those twins will end up going into the military, my twin brother Wesley? 24 years in the military, a soldier, Purple Heart, my hero, and was wounded and spent 3 months in a hospital in Japan, did 2 tours in Vietnam, and was a sky soldier, jumped out of airplanes 176 times. And I am so glad, because what I'm going to share with you, and I want you to write this down, what if money. How to create what if money with your voice, with your story. And the people in the Baltimore County area, please come to the Dream Center. I'm going to share with you, it's right there on the screen, how you can get your ticket, how you can earn your first million in a fraction of the time that it took me. It took me 3 years with 4 cassettes with a rubber band around them that I was selling. I can't believe as I look back, let me tell you something. There are things that you can do eye has not seen, ear has not heard, nor has entered the heart of mankind what God has in store for you. I'm going to share with you some things that will help you to begin to unlock your head. And I did not know I could do what I'm doing now. There's some things that you can do that you don't know. Sometimes you got to be intelligently ignorant. You don't know what you can't do. I paid a friend of mine money to teach me how to speak to corporations because he was a high-ranking executive at Ohio Bell. I want you to like this page and share it. And so after I paid him, he said, when I was about to leave with my mentor, Mike Williams, who saw this Les Brown before I saw him, he said, Les, can I be honest with you? And I said, yes. You say you're going to become a motivational speaker. You're going to become nationally known around the world. speaking to corporations and organizations. I said, yes. That's why I came here. He said, I wouldn't hire you. I said, why? He said, you're a nice guy. You got a funny laugh. You're smart. I wouldn't hire you. I couldn't justify that. How are you going to teach people how to do something that you've never done? You just spent 2 days with me, asking me questions, and I'm sharing things with you, how I got to where I am. I have an MBA. You have no college education. Come on, man. You were good on WVKO radio station. So what? They have blackballed you in Columbus, but you can get a disc jockey job someplace else. You can do that because you're good at it. I said, thank you. When I left to get in the car, his wife said, we came to the window to look and see you and Mike Williams leave. Now, I want you to get Mike's book. It's called The Road to Your Best Stuff. I wrote the foreword for it. He saw this Les Brown before I saw him. He was my newsman when I was in radio in Columbus, Ohio. And she asked him, do you think he's going to listen to you? And he said, no. And she said, he looks up to you. He admires you. He recognized your intelligence and the accomplishments that you've made in corporate America. He said, I know. And she asked him, why won't he listen to you and just stay in radio? And he said, he doesn't know. He can't do it. Listen to me. You don't know what you can do. We've been conditioned to judge according to appearances. No. You don't know. People say, if I see it, I believe it. No. If you believe it, you saw it. I saw myself on stages before I ever got on a stage. I saw myself speaking to thousands of people before I ever took a microphone and spoke on the stage in the Georgia Dome before 80,000 people. You can go and Google it right now. Les Brown speaking in the Georgia Dome. It's not over until I win. I saw it many times. I want you to think about what it is you want to achieve. And I want you to adopt the mindset of assumption. Assume that it's already there. Assume that you've already done it and see it in your mind's eyes. My favorite book says, I'll give you all your eyes can see. This is a special place now where we are, where there's so much noise in the world that you have to take time to unplug and get still. I came downstairs in the basement just to listen to myself. You have to do that. Turn your phone off, turn the computer off, and just listen to yourself, that still small voice within. Here I am, Father, speak to me. And when you start listening to yourself, ask yourself, what is it that you want to do with your life before you leave here? I told my grandchildren, they asked me, Papa, that's my name for them. They call me Papa. I have 15 grandchildren and 4 great-grands. If you had your life to live over again, what would you do? I said, I would start doing what I'm doing sooner. For 14 years, I didn't do it because I was intimidated by people with college education and corporate experience that I did not have. I didn't believe in myself. And I'm encouraging you to bet on you. There's some things that you can do that eye has not seen, ear has not heard, nor has entered the heart of mankind what God has in store for you. I want you to like this page and share it because there's so much madness out here, so much craziness. They do all these pranks and boots on the ground and bring the fans out. You know, come on. This is the time we got to be focused on what are we going to do? We're under attack. Just everyday people. Things are happening. And what we have to do is operate from the thinking of George Washington Carver. He said, do what you can where you are with what you have and never be satisfied. I'm not satisfied with what I've done. I know that there's more in me. I know that the best is yet to come. No. Decide. What is it that you want between now and the end of the year? What is it that you want to accomplish that you can say, I'm proud of myself? You know, I'm not a religious person. I'm a spiritual person. Religious people are afraid of going to hell. Spiritual people have been there. And to me, hell is what you experience when you die and you meet the person that you were supposed to become. Dr. Miles Monroe, who's one of my most famous students, he said, Les Brown, he said, there's no success without successors. He said, you make sure you carve out time to train people how you got to where you are. And I was working with him and said, look, your languaging style, it's you know, it's a lot of religious jargon there, and religious people only comprise 15% of your audience. I can show you how you can broaden your approach and speak to the other 85%. And he did that. And it made a dramatic difference in his income and his reach. Words matter. Right now, let me share with you what's dominant, and you already know it. Artificial intelligence and your brand. You making yourself stand out for your talents, for your knowledge, for your skills, for your consulting, for your business, the industry that you decide to go into, if it's multi-level marketing, if it's real estate, if it's financial services, whatever you do, you are the voice. You are the brand story, your ability to communicate that. But first, working on your mindset. I had the ability for a long time when I was going seeing all these other speakers, but I didn't have the belief in myself. According to your faith, be it unto you. See, there are three types of people I've come to find out after speaking for 53 years. They're winners, they're losers, and they're winners who've not discovered how to win. Come on now. Ooh, that'll preach. Listen to me. I see a lot of people who are making mistakes over and over again. They say experience is the best teacher. No, wisdom is. And I'm encouraging you to take the time to read 20 to 30 pages of something positive, to expand your mind, to develop mental resiliency. Because when you have goals and dreams, there will be distractions. When you have goals and things that you want to achieve outside of your comfort zone, there will be pushback. Things are going to happen that you'll never see coming. I'm telling you what I know. When Dr. Alfred Golson, who was just a brilliant oncologist, graduated from Howard University and went on to medical school, he told me something that I just didn't see it coming. Les Brown, yes, you have cancer. You? Yeah. Is there anything else? Yes, prostate cancer. Your PSA is 2,400. I said, what does that mean? 1 to 4 is normal. Is there anything else? Yeah. What is it? It's metastasized to 7 areas of your body, including your spine. I said, whoa. I sat back and I started smiling. He looked at me puzzled. What are you smiling about? I said, man, 7 is my lucky number. I was born February the 17th. Same thing as Michael Jordan and Jim Brown, February 17th. I'm one of 7 children. I said, Joshua marched around the walls of Jericho 7 times.
And Naaman dipped himself in the river Jordan 7 times. I said, man, 7 is my lucky number. I said, is there anything else, Dr. Golson? He said, yes. I said, what is it? He said, and you're ugly too. Oh my God, we both cracked up. I said, man, I said, this is serious. He said, but you got this. I never tell my patients they're terminally ill. What I say is that my skills, my knowledge has terminated. I determine the diagnosis. You and God determine the prognosis. Come on, somebody. 39 years later, I'm still here because of God's grace and mercy. I'm still here because he distracted me. When you hear cancer, it's the most feared word in 7 different languages. But when he made me laugh, if you're a coach, you're a speaker, you're a presenter, you're a manager, you're a leader, distract, dispute, and inspire. Listen to me. How people live their lives is a result of the story they believe about themselves. And what I'm doing right now, I'm distracting you from the stories that you picked up in this world. Be ye not conformed to this world, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. See, the majority of people can't hear me, but if you are listening to me for more than 5 minutes, then you know in your heart of hearts that what's in me is also in you. Because we've been programmed. Bring the fans out. We've been programmed. Who's the GOAT? Is it Kobe or is it Michael? Or is it LeBron? Conversations about sports. We've been programmed to just consume entertainment. There are people who looked at me and listened to me for about 4 or 5 seconds and turned away because I'm not a comedian. And I'm funny though, okay? But I'm not going to use foul language in how I talk to you because of my own personal standards. And our kids are listening. They're watching everything that we do. So there's some things that you don't need to consume in the name of entertainment. This is the time that you put yourself on a mental diet, listening and reading things that can empower you, that can bring out the greatness in you. And they demanded of the Jewish carpenter when the kingdom of God should come, Jesus said, the kingdom of God cometh not by observation. They shall say, it's neither lo there, lo here. Behold, the kingdom of God is within you. They don't preach about that at church. He said it's within you. Check it out and listen to me. That kingdom that's within you, that potential, that greatness that's within you, it's voice activated. Oh, behave. Yes. You have greatness in you. What I'm doing right now is so important for us. With all the madness and things that's going on, the inhumane treatment of people, budgets being cut, that's helping people. Thousands of people are dying unnecessarily because of political decisions that don't recognize their humanity. We have immigrants in this country are living in fear. Immigrants are people too. We're all immigrants. They're people too. But we now have leadership that does not recognize that. And so in this space where we are, we can't do everything. But what we must do with the clarity of mind is decide, what impact do I want to make with my life before I leave here? What is it? What does that look like? People with goals and dreams have a purpose-driven life, live longer than people who don't have them. You're here for a reason. I feel that when I look at my life, as much as I love what I do and I chose to do this, I believe I was chosen for this. I mean, why? Because so many things I've done and I should have been out of here a long time ago. I mean, I used to be plumb crazy. Have you ever looked back at your life and say, what state of mind was I in? I remember I had a confrontation with a guy, and my cousin Boo was with me, and he pulled out a gun. I'm not going to tell you his name is King Twitty. Okay, it is. He's still around. And I said, "Shoot, sucker!" He had spent my money I'd given him for a promotion in Columbus, Ohio, for a concert we were going to bring the Ohio players. And the gun cocked, and so I got to him and grabbed him by his afro and slammed his head up against the wall. These are my pre-saved years, okay? And so when we got in the car, we were driving back to our apartment over on Ridge Street in Columbus, Ohio. Who asked me, "Why did you tell him to shoot?" He said, "Man, the gun cocked." He said, "If he had a clarity of mind, he could have gotten it straight and killed you." I said, "I don't know. I wasn't thinking." Then after a while, we're driving. He said, "What is that?" And he looked over. He said, "Man, you have peed on yourself." When I heard that, 2 times that happened to me. The other time I went to Belize with Miles Monroe, and we flew back on this little small plane, and Miles got off the plane, and then I was coming down the steps, and we were just over the telephone poles, just over the telephone lines. I was scared, me, Miles, and the pilot. And when he looked up, he said, "Oh, ye of little faith." He said, "Look, you done peed on yourself, man. Look at you." When I get excited, I gotta pee. I'm sorry. So anyhow, you have to be intelligently ignorant. There's nothing off limit for us. We don't have to demand a level playing field. We will level it ourselves or create a new field. We don't have to be begging to get to a table. We can build our own tables now. We got it like that. You think about all the stuff that's going on right now. This is nothing. I'm telling you what I know. I used to go to work with my mother on Miami Beach when I was about 5 years old. The neighbors would keep my brothers and sisters. Mama adopted 7 kids. But they said the 7th one, me, they said I was a little touched in the head. Neighbors didn't want to keep me, so I went to work with Mama. And we had to go in the back door. Why? Because we were Black. A culture that was designed to destroy our sense of self, that you're not worthy to come in our front door. You used to ride to the back of the bus. I remember the little yellow line when we got on the bus, and Mama said, "Leslie, keep moving, keep moving." And what happened for me is that when I saw these big, beautiful homes, and we were coming across the Venetian Causeway back to Liberty City and Overtown, I said, "Mama, why can't we live over here?" And she said, "We just can't." I said, "Mama, what is it, Leslie?" And I was walking around one of those big, beautiful mansions, and I'm telling you this for a reason. You're a speaker, never make a point without a story, and never tell a story without a point. I said, when I become a man, I'm going to buy you a big, beautiful home just like this. And you'll hire somebody to clean it. And you're only going to be cooking for me. See, my mother could bake a sweet potato pie so good you couldn't eat it with your shoes on. You had to kick your shoes off so you could wiggle your toes. Maybe Brown could bake a sweet potato pie up in here, up in here. And so that was my vision and dream. But let me show you what happened. I used to shine the shoes of Mr. Swiderski, and he would listen to motivational tapes all the time. And I would listen to these words of these speakers were talking about, you become what you think about. Always strive to get on top in life because it's the bottom that's overcrowded. Jim Rohn, Zig Ziglar. If you give enough people what they want, they will give you what you want. Listening to these people over and over again while I was shining his shoes, it began to expand my vision of myself beyond being in a community where drugs and alcohol and violence was rampant. I was visualizing and seeing myself being in a position to buy a home for my mother and give her the key and say, this is for you. But she adopted 7 children that she didn't have to. We first put us in foster care, and then she decided to adopt us. I always say, all that I am and all that I hope to be, I owe to my mother. That God took me out of my biological mother's womb and placed me in the heart of my adopted mother. And the reason I'm sharing this with you, you have a goal, a dream. I want to ask you your why. What drives you? Nietzsche said, if you know the why for living, you can endure almost anyhow. You got to have a compelling reason to get that dream. It can't be just, oh, I just want to make some more money. No, you got to have a compelling reason. So when life happens, you can handle it. You can go through the storms of life and command the weather. When life happens and you have a compelling reason, you'll be able to endure all type of rejection. You'll be able to face the no's that are waiting for you, the setbacks and people stabbing you in the back and talking about you, the failures again and again and again. Walt Disney failed 7 times and had 2 nervous breakdowns. Walter P. Chrysler fell in the automobile industry 49 times. That's why those of you that come to the event that we're going to be speaking at on tomorrow at 6 o'clock, I'm going to have for you some motivation material to fortify your mind. A lot of crazy stuff going on now. People are snapping, fighting over parking spots, road rage. It's different. And you have to counter it by having some positive input. People say, oh, garbage in, garbage out. No. Garbage in, garbage stays. When we don't monitor what we're listening to, rap music, I know many of you love it, and I enjoy some of it, but it's created a mindset, a culture of HIV, hood-infected virus, AIDS, addiction to incarceration, and death syndrome. It's only musical genre that people kill each other, talking about they got beefs. It's crazy. When you look at the culture that we have right now, you look at the culture that we have right now, the culture represents the thinking of the people in that culture. And politicians cannot change that. Politicians and religion has been used to divide people and create the illusion that I got you, I'll take care of you. No. This is the time you have to take responsibility for what you want out of life. George Bernard Shaw said, the people that make it in this life, they look around for the circumstances that they want, and if they can't find them, they create them. We were created by the Creator to create. We have it like that. You're made in the likeness and image of God. You've been given authority and dominion of everything on the face of the earth. Do you know who you are? I was being interviewed by this white interviewer, and he said, I notice your statistics, and the majority of people that come to your seminars and listen to you are Caucasian. He said, shouldn't you be speaking more to Black people? I said, not really. I said, I speak to people that can hear me. I said, the reason that you need to hear me and people who look like you, if you knew who you were and weren't intimidated by people that look like me, you wouldn't put systems together to keep us from participating in the economy because you don't feel you can compete with me. His face turned red as my time right now. I say, come on. If you just think about it, you don't plot and work against people who you think that you're better than them. No, no. If you feel you got it like that, you say, come on in. And right now, people that's just afraid of us. Why? We ain't done nothing to y'all. We just want to make it just like you. And I realize Frederick Douglass was right. Everything that we get and everything that we fight for, we won't get it. But everything we get, there will be a fight. There will be. And so this is the time. I don't care who you are. Caucasian, Black, Latino, Asian, I don't care whatever race. This is the time you want to make it in this era of accelerated change, overwhelming complexity, and tremendous competition. And this time where they're projecting that by 2030, that all the jobs that exist for the most part will be eliminated by artificial intelligence. This is the time that you have to work on your mind. This is the time that you have to expand your skills, retool. Robert Schull had a point. You either expand or you are expendable. And this is a time to be listening to positive messages, being around people who have goals and who have dreams. People rub off on you. Sidney Poitier, the Academy Award winner, he wrote a book called The Measure of a Man. There's a line in there that I love very much. He said, when you go for a walk with someone, something happens without being spoken. Either they adjust to your pace or you adjust to their pace. Whose pace have you adjusted to? You earn within $2,000 to $3,000 of your closest friends. When I found that out, I got all the broke people out of my life. Yeah. Y'all gotta go. I used to be so broke, I walked past a bank and tripped the alarm. Every time I think about that, I crack up. Creditors would call the house. I answered the phone. Hello, may I speak to Les Brown, please? I'm sorry, but he's not here. You sound like Les Brown. Don't you go there, big boy. Or my children would answer the phone and say, my daddy say he ain't home. Don't tell him like that. I'm telling you, poverty sucks. There's no excuse to be broke today. There's no excuse to be walking around looking for a job. Educate yourself and create your own job. Be willing to put in the time and the effort. All of us are born the same way, dumb, naked, and speechless. And don't complain about all the stuff that's going on. Life is not fair. It's not fair that birds eat worms, and they do. It's a part of the process. It builds your character. Don't be stoppable. Decide that what you want, that you're going to make it happen, that you're willing to do the work and find a way to win. My mother never gave birth to children, and she found a way to raise 7 children that she didn't give birth to. Only had a 3rd grade education. You ask a reporter, how did you know? This reporter was interviewing my mother when I had a talk show that King World sponsored. How did you know that you can raise 7 children by yourself? You never had any kids, Miss Mamie. And she said, I just felt the Lord will make a way somehow. You know what? I believe in that. When I look at all the madness and all the stuff that's going on, I believe, come on now, God is still in charge. I believe the Lord will make a way somehow. Somehow. And we've got to be willing to do the work. Commit thy works unto the Lord, and thy thoughts shall be established. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy path. Be willing to do the work. The majority of people are lazy. You have no competition now. You have access to infinite information. You can now access and discover all types of stuff. When I do this event, and I want to circle back to this, those of you in Baltimore County, I'm going to be at the Dream Center tomorrow at 6 o'clock in person. In the Dream Center, it's at 4111 Deer Park Road in Randallstown, Maryland. And you can go to impactbaltimoreedc.org. impactbaltimoreedc.org. I'm going to be sharing with you actionable steps of what you can do right now to be able to become financially independent, how to leverage artificial intelligence, how to take your story, your experiences, and the things that you've gone through, and how to monetize it, just like I have. I'm telling you what I know. You got a lot of people that's coming out here. Listen to me. I've been doing this for 53 years. Some of you have been listening to me since you were children, little teeny weenies. I'm telling you what I know. This is your time. This is your moment. You can hear me? Listen, this is the time to unleash the hunger. The best is yet to come. And for those of you that register, I've got a gift for you. And why are you doing this? I always ask audiences, and when I was speaking for corporations, I asked them, if you had your life to live over again, what would you do differently? You know what the majority of them said? I would quit my job. Some of them said, honey, I'll get a divorce. If I knew I had 6 months to live, I would do what I'm doing now. I would do more Zooms. I'll do more personal appearances, just like I'm doing tomorrow in Baltimore, Maryland. I would speak more often. I would work with a small group of people that are hungry and train them how to tell their story, how to create an experience with their story, how not just to tell the story, but speak so that people don't just hear you, but they feel you, how to touch their heart. I would do that. I told my kids. I wasn't playing. I said, they tell you I died, don't let them embalm me for 3 days. And come to the morgue and put a microphone in my hand. If I don't grab it and say, you got to be hungry, call your brothers and sisters, Patrick, and say, Daddy's gone. How you know? I put a microphone in his hand. He didn't say nothing. Oh my goodness, I enjoy myself. I tickle myself. Stop it. Okay, I'm sorry. I had to take my medication this morning. Listen to me. We're here because of God's grace and mercy. Life is God's gift to us. We have been given authority and dominion over everything. Listen to me. Over everything on the face of the earth. But listen, Dr. Carter G. Woodson, come forth, sir. Would you please come forth? Yes. Dr. Carter G. Woodson wrote something. He said, if you can determine what a man shall think, this is why I'm giving you these motivational messages, $500 worth of self-development material. If you can determine what a man shall think, you never have to concern yourself with what he will do. He said, if you can make a man feel inferior, you never have to compel him to seek an inferior status, for he will seek it himself. And if you can make a man feel justly an outcast, you never have to order him to go to the back door. He'll go without being told. And if there's no door, his very nature will demand one. Now, listen to me. You're made in the likeness and image of God. We've been given authority and dominion over everything on the face of the earth. However, we will never exercise authority and dominion over our lives until we exercise authority and dominion over what we are not. We've been programmed between the ages of 0 and 6, the most exhaustive study on self-esteem, self-image by Maud Zillerman and learned optimism. We've been programmed with our environment, our environment and the people around us and the conversations we hear and the things we see. We've been programmed to think small. You look at Tiger Woods. His father started working with him when he was very young. You look at Serena and Venus. Their father worked with them when they were very young. They came up in an environment of development. That's what we have to do with our kids. We have to start early, let them know they can do more than play basketball or run with a football with a helmet on their head. They have the potential to be doctors and lawyers and endocrinologists and dermatologists. The kids have so much potential. And we're here, and we can make a difference. We can make an impact. And I'm looking for those of you in the Baltimore County area to come to the Dream Center. Let me tell y'all. Well, wait a minute. You see it's right there on the screen. You can go there and get your ticket now. And I'm gonna have a private session with you, but I'm gonna also give you, those of you that register and get your tickets, we're gonna spend some time together. I want, my goal is spend time with people who are hungry, who are serious. Now, don't try and come up in my face. I'm not interested in you getting close to me like that. No. You know, I don't know what this COVID coming back or not. I don't know. I ain't taking no chances. I believe in God working overtime. No. But I'm going to share with you and bring some things with you that you can take away, and you have a game plan for what you're going to do next. We'll be at the Dream Center. You can order your ticket right now in Baltimore, Maryland. Now, here's something else. This is very important. Who's around you? It's very important. I want you to write this down. This is a time that you have to evaluate your relationships. And you have to ask the question, as my son John Leslie would say, who should you count on and who should you count out? It's very important. There's certain phone calls that you don't want to take. There's certain people that you need to distance yourself from, family members and friends. If they're not doing anything, why? They will distract you. There goes a second. There goes another second. And all the power in the world can't bring it back. You got to maximize and guard your time. If you're serious about improving your health, if you're serious about having peace, they're saying that 46% of Americans can't get a good night's sleep. If you're serious about being independent, starting your own business, start your own coaching or speaking business or consulting business or whatever it is, that takes time and effort. But I don't have the money. Come on, there's never a shortage of money, shortage of thinking and resourcefulness. I left Miami. Sometimes you got to get up and go to a new land on a Greyhound bus, going to Dallas, Texas, seeking a new life. My mama fixed me a pot of marinated frog legs. I was trading frog legs for pork chop sandwiches on a Greyhound bus, going to Dallas, Texas, to go through a training with a guy named Ed Foreman, Executive Development. And from that time to this time, I'll never forget, Mr. Brown, don't worry about how much my program costs. Worry about how much will it cost you if you don't come and learn some things that you don't know. And by the way, you can't teach people how to operate outside of their comfort zone if you are not the messenger of that and the example of that. See, a lot of people say, practice what you preach. I say, no, preach what you practice. I know what I'm talking about. I've done what I'm talking about. Things I'm going to teach you how to do, I've done it. Took me 3 years to earn my first million. Today, with all the technology, you can do it in a fraction of the time. I used to be a disc jockey, LB, Triple P, Les Brown, your platter playing papa. There were none before me, and there will be none after me. Therefore, that makes me the one and only. Young and single who love to mingle, certified, modified, dubitably qualified to bring you satisfaction and a whole lot of action. Those are my pre-saved years. I've been a state legislator. I've been an entrepreneur. I've been my own boss. I'm telling you, you can do this. You have it in you. Challenge yourself. As Dr. Miles Monroe would say, rob the cemetery of your genius, of your talents, of your ideas, of that business that's in you. This is your time. You were built for more. You're more than a conqueror. And so I'm looking forward. I want those of you that's in that area or drive to the area if you're not, get your ticket. I'll be at the Dream Center. Dr. Robinson, he's a brother that's committed. And Dr. Kenneth Robinson has a passion for our children. He said, our children are not our future. Our children are our now. That's why I support what he's doing. I'll spend the rest of my life doing God's work. A lot of people out here want to speak, want to make a whole lot of money. Let me tell you something. If you don't have peace of mind, if you don't have health, if you don't have positive relationships, what I call bread and butter people in your life, what do you mean by bread and butter people, Les? Have people that you can call if your car breaks down in the middle of the night, let's say 3 o'clock in the morning, you call, the bread and butter person will ask, where are you? I'm coming for you. A person that's not a bread and butter people, they will ask, what time is it? I tell you, this is the time. You got to ask yourself, who should I count on and who should I count out? I'm going to say something, and I want to see some flames. I said this before, and I'm going to say it again. Don't be the go-to person for people you can't go to. Yes, don't be the go-to person for people you can't go to. There are people that are emotional vampires. There are people that will drain you of your energy, of your money, of your time, of your mental strength. Maya Angelou had a point. When people show you who they are, believe them the first time. I ain't playing with you. I'm telling you. You're listening to me because what's in me is in you. You know it. Your mind is practical, logical, and realistic. That's what kept me from doing what I'm doing for 14 years. Being practical, logical, and realistic. Les, you don't have a college education. Les, how can you compete with people with college educations, PhDs, and MBAs, and you have no corporate experience? How can you develop the credibility to be hired by AT&T, Procter & Gamble, McDonald's Corporation, General Electric, IBM? These are clients that I've spoken for. What makes you think that you can speak for them? I talked myself out of it for 14 years. There's an African proverb that says, if there's no enemy within, the enemy outside can do us no harm. And so this is time. If you can hear me in your heart, where your heart is, there your treasure is also. Come on, somebody. Well, I tell you, I want to see some flames if what I've shared with you has had any value for you. Let me see some flames of it and some comments. I wish I get close enough with my Walgreen glasses to see and read the comments, but there's something else I want to say. You might have had a lot of failures and setbacks, and I've gone through that. But that does not make you a failure. That just gave you feedback that you need to do it differently. That's all. And I've had my share. I used to sleep in my car. I used to build my business at the Penobscot building in Detroit, Michigan. On the 21st floor, I slept on the floor. I bathed in the sink down the hall. And I'm like the lady who said, Lord, I ain't what I want to be, ain't what I'm going to be, but thank God I sure ain't what I was. You're built for more. Listen to me in your heart. This is no accident that you're listening to me right now. Life is for living. This is a moment. There was a movie that Denzel Washington was in called Touch. And there's a line in this movie that says, there's before this, and there's after this. And after this, nothing will ever be the same again. For those of you that's going to come to this event tomorrow evening at 6 o'clock, at the Dream Center in Baltimore County, you get your tickets there on the screen. I guarantee you, your life will never be the same again. I believe that I'm here because of God's grace and mercy. I'm so appreciative that I get a chance to support Dr. Kenneth Robinson and his wife for the great ministry they have in working with our young people. And then I think a week or 2 weeks later, I'll be in Dallas, Texas. Then I'm going to Detroit to do something there. I want to be in the room with people and feel your energy and you feel my energy and you can ask me questions. This is our time. Don't get caught up in the distractions. No. Listen to me. Listen to me, Linda. Listen to me. This is our time. You have the ability to do more than you can ever begin to imagine. And we're going to share with you how you can leverage your name, your story, your voice, and artificial intelligence, that the things that you can accomplish, the money that you can make, the impact that you'll be able to achieve, eye has not seen, ear has not heard, nor has entered the heart of mankind what God has in store for you. Now, let me close on this. People say opportunity knocks on every door. I believe opportunity stands by silently, waiting for you to recognize it. Some of you have a story, and you want to learn how to tell that story. How to tell it and create an experience with an audience, how to tell it and have confidence in yourself, how to organize your story, how to deliver your message in a way that people see themselves in your story. Is that you? You want to learn how to do that? I've been doing it before most of you were born. 53 years. I used to think people in their 40s were old. Now that I'm 80-ish, oh my God, I'm 80-ish. Who does this? I served at the Lord's Supper, but I got some good tips. Oh my God. Oh my God. I tell you, this thing called life, it's nothing else. I'm glad to be here. I remember when Gladys and I were married, and I saw Frank Sinatra, and I heard him say to a guy at Caesar's Palace, live each day as if it were your last, because one day it will be. Wow. Live each day as if it were your last, because one day it will be. When I put my head on my pillow, if someone, because I spoke, got a larger vision of themselves beyond their trauma, beyond their mental conditioning, beyond the stuff that they are dealing with, if someone can go to sleep and breathe easier because I was able to speak into their heart and connect them with the irreducible essence of who they are, the divine nature of who they are, and connect them to the greatness that they have within them. Greater is he that's in you than he that's in the world. Then I can get a good night's sleep. Yes, yes. If you're listening to me and you stayed with us, this is your time. This is your moment. You were built for this. You got this. Yes. This has been Mrs. Mamie Brown's baby boy and Dorothy Bell Rucker's pride and joy. I've got two mothers and I'm not ashamed. I've got two mothers and I love them just the same. Oh, behave. Let me see some comments. I'm gonna be here in the studio looking to see, what do you feel? What, as you listen to me, what came up for you? What did you experience? What surprised you? And what jumped out for you? What resonated with you? I want your comments because I'm going to take some lemon and honey and I'm coming back again. I ain't through with y'all. I ain't playing with you. No, I'm still here and I'm going to speak my way here and out of here. Yes. Bye for now. Bye-bye. And don't forget now, get your tickets now so you can come to the Dream Center in Baltimore County and see me tomorrow at 6 o'clock. Dr. Kenneth Robinson, thank you, sir. You and your wife, God bless the day you were born. I had a wonderful time today. I hope y'all enjoyed me as much as I have enjoyed serving you. Thank you. Thank you, Father, for this opportunity to speak, to be a channel of hope, peace, and harmony. And so it is. Okay. Tatum, where's my granddaughter? Oh, wait a minute. I'm going to end this now. Thank you.
How many of you right now feel like you're capable of more, but something keeps holding you back? How many of you have ever felt stuck, not because you lack potential, but because something inside of you just isn't clicking? Listen to me, success is not about talent, it's not about luck, it's not about circumstances, it's about what's happening in your mind. It's about mental strength. The strongest people in the world, the ones who dominate in business, in sports, in life, aren't necessarily the smartest or the most skilled. They are the ones who have mastered their mind. They control their emotions instead of letting their emotions control them. They show up every day with relentless consistency, no matter what. They take full ownership of their lives, no excuses, no blame, just pure responsibility. And today, I'm going to give you 5 habits, 5 mindset shifts that separate the mentally strong from everybody else. Because if you don't master these, you will always be at the mercy of your emotions, your fears, and your excuses. But if you do, you will become unstoppable. Let's dive in. Control your focus. Where focus goes, energy flows. This is one of the most powerful principles that separates mentally strong individuals from those who struggle with uncertainty, negativity, and self-doubt. Your mind is like a magnifying glass. Whatever you focus on expands. If you constantly focus on problems, they become bigger and more overwhelming. But if you train yourself to focus on solutions, opportunities, and what you can control, you shift your entire state of mind, and suddenly life starts working for you instead of against you. Mentally strong people have mastered the ability to direct their focus intentionally. They don't allow distractions, setbacks, or external circumstances to dictate their mindset. They take command of their thoughts. They make a conscious choice every single day to focus on progress, growth, and possibilities. This isn't something that happens automatically. It's a skill, a habit that must be trained and conditioned, just like a muscle. Think about the most successful people in the world: athletes, entrepreneurs, leaders. Do you think they waste their time focusing on what's wrong? No, they train themselves to find solutions. They condition their minds to see possibilities where others see obstacles. They focus on what they can do, not what they can't. And this mindset gives them an unstoppable edge in everything they do. Imagine a person who constantly focuses on why they can't succeed. They tell themselves they're not smart enough, not talented enough, or that life is unfair. Their mind reinforces those beliefs, and their actions reflect that negativity. On the other hand, someone who chooses to focus on solutions will see opportunities where others see dead ends. They'll ask better questions. What can I learn from this? How can I turn this around? What's the next step I can take? The answers they come up with propel them forward instead of holding them back. One of the most effective ways to take control of your focus is by asking powerful questions. Your brain is like a search engine. It will find whatever you tell it to look for. If you constantly ask, why does this always happen to me? Your mind will give you a list of reasons why life is unfair. But if you ask, how can I turn this into an opportunity? Your brain will start searching for ways to make it happen. Questions determine your focus, and your focus determines your reality. Visualization is another tool they use. They don't just hope things will get better, they see it in their mind's eye. They create a clear picture of their goals and mentally rehearse their success before it even happens. This isn't just wishful thinking, it's training the brain to focus on winning. When the mind believes something is possible, it finds a way to make it a reality. At the end of the day, focus is a decision. You can either let the world control your attention, or you can take charge and direct it toward what empowers you. When you master your focus, you master your emotions. When you master your emotions, you master your actions. And when you master your actions, you master your life. Embrace discomfort. Growth only happens in discomfort. Mentally strong people understand this at their core. They don't shy away from challenges, they seek them out. They don't avoid struggle, they lean into it. They have trained themselves to get comfortable being uncomfortable because they know that discomfort is the gateway to transformation. Think about the people who never change, who stay stuck in the same patterns year after year. Why? Because they fear discomfort. They fear failure, rejection, and uncertainty. They would rather stay in a situation that isn't working than step into the unknown and take a chance on something better. But the truth is, the discomfort of staying the same is far worse than the discomfort of growth. Look at elite athletes. They push their bodies beyond their limits every single day. They don't stop when it gets hard. They push harder. Why? Because they understand that every rep, every sprint, every ounce of pain is making them stronger. They've conditioned themselves to embrace discomfort because they know that's where the real growth happens. One of the biggest forms of discomfort people struggle with is failure. Most people avoid taking risks because they're afraid to fail, but mentally strong individuals see failure differently. They don't see it as the end, they see it as feedback. Every failure is a lesson. Every setback is a stepping stone. The people who achieve the greatest success are the ones who have failed the most because they were willing to take action despite the discomfort. Look at the greatest entrepreneurs, leaders, and innovators in history. Every single one of them faced massive failures before achieving success. They embraced the discomfort of rejection, criticism, and uncertainty because they knew that pushing through those challenges was the only way to grow. Think about the first time you did something difficult. Maybe it was public speaking, starting a business, or pushing your body through an intense workout. At first, it felt uncomfortable, but over time, what happened? It became easier. You got stronger. Why? Because you exposed yourself to discomfort enough times that it became your new normal. That's the secret. The more you embrace discomfort, the more resilient you become. Your threshold for challenge expands, and things that once seemed impossible become second nature. If you want to be mentally strong, you must train yourself to do the things that scare you, the things that stretch you, and the things that force you to grow. Discomfort is not the enemy. It is the price of progress. It is the path to mastery. It is the key to unlocking your true potential. The only way to reach the next level in any area of life is to step into the discomfort that comes with it. Master your emotions. Your emotions do not control you, you control them. This is the mindset of mentally strong individuals. They don't let fear, doubt, frustration, or anger dictate their actions. They don't allow temporary feelings to determine their long-term results. They have learned to master their emotions instead of being mastered by them. This is what separates those who thrive under pressure from those who crumble. Most people go through life reacting. Something happens and they immediately respond based on how they feel in that moment. If someone says something negative, they get defensive. If they experience a setback, they get discouraged. If things don't go as planned, they spiral into frustration. Their emotions dictate their actions, and because of that, they live in a constant state of uncertainty, always at the mercy of whatever is happening around them. Mentally strong people operate differently. They understand that emotions are powerful, but they also understand that emotions can be directed. They don't suppress how they feel, but they also don't let emotions take over. Instead, they train themselves to use emotions as fuel. Fear becomes motivation, frustration becomes drive, pain becomes power. Every emotion has energy, and when you learn to redirect that energy in a way that serves you, you become unstoppable. Think about an athlete who is about to compete. If they allowed fear and nerves to control them, they would never perform at their best. Instead, they take control of their mental state. They channel that nervous energy into focus. They reframe their fear as excitement. They have conditioned their mind to work for them rather than against them. This isn't something that happens by accident. It happens by training. One of the most effective ways to master your emotions is by shifting your perspective. Most people experience emotions based on the meaning they give to situations. If they lose a job, they see it as a disaster and they feel defeated. If a relationship ends, they see it as a failure and they feel broken. But mentally strong individuals ask better questions. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? They ask, how is this happening for me? They shift their mindset from victim to warrior. The way you speak to yourself determines how you feel. If you constantly tell yourself this is too hard, you will feel overwhelmed. If you say, I can't handle this, you will feel powerless. But if you tell yourself, this is making me stronger, or I will figure this out, you shift your emotions instantly. Self-talk is not just a motivational tool, it is the foundation of emotional mastery. Another powerful strategy is controlling your physiology. Your body and mind are connected, and how you move affects how you feel. When you stand tall, breathe deeply, and move with power, your emotions follow. This is why mentally strong people use movement to shift their state. They don't slump over when they feel down, they change their posture. They don't sit in sadness, they take action. They use their body to influence their emotions, instead of letting emotions dictate how they carry themselves. People who struggle with emotional control often get stuck in negative loops. Something goes wrong, they feel bad, and instead of breaking the pattern, they reinforce it by dwelling on the problem. Mentally strong individuals recognize these patterns and interrupt them. They change their focus, they move their body, they shift their perspective. They don't allow themselves to spiral into negativity because they know that every moment spent in a negative state is a moment wasted. Be relentlessly consistent. Motivation is temporary, discipline is permanent. Mentally strong people do not rely on fleeting bursts of inspiration to take action. They don't wait for the perfect mood, the perfect conditions, or the perfect timing. They have built a mindset of relentless consistency, showing up every single day, regardless of how they feel. The problem most people have is that they only take action when they feel like it. When they're excited, they work hard. When they're tired, they make excuses. When things are going well, they stay consistent. When obstacles appear, they lose momentum. This cycle keeps them stuck because they are letting their emotions determine their progress. Mentally strong individuals refuse to let that happen. They understand that true success is built through repetition, through discipline, through unwavering commitment. Think about the greatest athletes, the most successful entrepreneurs, the highest performers in any field. They didn't get there by working hard once in a while. They got there by doing the work every single day, whether they felt like it or not. They built routines and habits that keep them moving forward. They don't rely on motivation, they rely on systems. Imagine someone who wants to get in shape. They start working out for a few days, but then they miss a session, then another. Suddenly, they've lost momentum and it feels impossible to start again. Now compare that to someone who commits to showing up every day, no matter what. Even if they don't feel like it, even if they only do a little, they keep moving. Over time, this consistency compounds and the results become undeniable. Mentally strong people understand that discipline is like a muscle. It must be trained. The more you practice consistency, the easier it becomes. What starts as effort turns into habit. What was once difficult becomes automatic. This is why the strongest people in the world have daily rituals that they never break. They don't negotiate with themselves. They don't give in to excuses. They have made success non-negotiable. Most people think they need motivation to start, but in reality, motivation comes after action, not before. When you take action, even when you don't feel like it, you build momentum. That momentum creates motivation, and the cycle continues. This is why mentally strong people never wait for inspiration. They take action first, and the motivation follows. The real test of mental strength is not how hard you work when you're excited. It's how committed you stay when things get tough. Anyone can be consistent when everything is going well. But what happens when you're tired, when you're stressed, when life throws obstacles in your path? That's when most people quit. But mentally strong individuals push through. They have conditioned themselves to keep moving forward no matter. The strongest people in the world are not the most talented, the most gifted, or the most fortunate. They are the most consistent. They are the ones who show up day after day, year after year, regardless of circumstances. They have built a mindset of relentless discipline, and because of that, they achieve what others only dream of. Take full responsibility. Mentally strong people don't blame others, make excuses, or wait for someone else to fix their problems. They take full ownership of their lives, every decision, every action, every result. No excuses, no victim mentality, no shifting blame. The moment they take full responsibility is the moment they take full control. Most people go through life pointing fingers. When something goes wrong, they blame their upbringing, the economy, their boss, or their past. But mentally strong people understand that responsibility equals power. The more they own their circumstances, the more they can change them. Taking responsibility doesn't mean controlling everything. It means controlling how you respond. Instead of saying, "This isn't fair," they ask, "How can I turn this around?" They eliminate excuses. They don't say, "I don't have time." They say, "I haven't made it a priority." They don't say, "I can't afford it." They say, "How can I create the money?" They refuse to be victims. No matter what has happened, they focus on what they can do next. They don't wait for motivation. They don't depend on luck. They don't settle for mediocrity. They hold themselves accountable, follow through, and take full responsibility for shaping their future. Mentally strong people understand that taking responsibility is the key to power. They know that if they blame others, they give away control. If they make excuses, they stay stuck. Instead of focusing on what's unfair, they focus on what they can do to change their situation. They take ownership of their time, decisions, and emotions. When something doesn't go their way, they don't waste time complaining. They ask, "What can I learn from this?" They recognize that every setback is a chance to grow. Instead of saying, "I can't," they ask, "How can I?" Instead of waiting for someone to rescue them, they create solutions. Taking full responsibility means following through. Most people say they'll do something, but when it gets hard, they quit. Mentally strong people don't. They commit. They keep promises to themselves. They know that success isn't about luck. It's about discipline, action, and ownership. They control their thoughts, emotions, and reactions, shaping their future on their terms. This is it. This is where the separation happens. Everyone wants success, but very few are willing to build the mindset it takes to sustain it. You've just learned the 5 habits of mentally strong people. You now know how to master your emotions, how to be relentlessly consistent, how to take full responsibility for your life. But knowledge means nothing without action. So here's my challenge to you. Pick one of these habits and commit to it today. Not tomorrow, not next week, right now, because the only thing standing between you and the life you want is the level of mental strength you bring to the table. And if you want more strategies to break through, to level up, to become the absolute best version of yourself, make sure you subscribe to Tony Robbins' Track and stay locked in, because this is just the beginning. Now go out there and make it happen. You think it's over. You think the game is done because it's hard, because you're tired. Welcome to life. Let me tell you the truth. No one else will. Nobody cares. Nobody is coming to save you. If you want to win, you've got to be a winner. Winners don't whine. They don't cry about how unfair life is. They wake up, they sharpen the sword, and they go back to war. I've been broke. I've been hated. I've been banned, silenced, attacked, but I'm still standing. You know why? Because I don't stop until I win. Life is combat. Every day is war. You're either conquering or you're being conquered. And if you're not willing to go in to bleed for what you want, then stay average. But don't dare complain. You're not defeated until you accept defeat. You're not done until you decide to be done. Subject, 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 subjective, 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 subjectival, subjectival. You're not done until you accept. So decide right now, who are you going to be? You've got to build yourself into something unbreakable. No one's going to hand it to you. No one's going to give you respect. You take it. You earn it. This world bows to the relentless, to the ones who don't break, who don't quit, who refuse to lose. If you fall, you get up. If you get hit, you hit back harder. If the door shuts, you kick it off the hinges, because that's what it takes to win. And so, if you got what it takes, if you fall shut, you kick it off the hinges, because that's what it takes to win. So, if you're breathing, if you're still in the game, then say it loud. You done? No, you're not done. You don't stop when you're tired. You stop when you're finished. You stop when the mission's complete. Listen, life's going to push you to your edge. It's going to knock you down so hard you forget who you are. But you got to remember why you started. Remember the dream. This ain't the time to back up. This ain't the time to let go. This is the time to lock in. Because winners don't fold, they don't break. They build. When I was homeless, I didn't have a plan B. It was win or die trying. I said, Eric, you better turn this pain into purpose. And that's what I did. When people quit on you, keep going. When nobody believes in you, keep. When life says it's over, you say, not until I win. You've come too far to turn back now. You've sacrificed too much to let it all go. This is your moment. And don't you let pain take that from you. Don't you let fear hold you hostage. Push past the pain, work through the tears, fight through the silence. It's going to get hard, but that's the process. You're being forged, you're being refined, you're becoming unstoppable. So speak this out loud. It's not over until I win. Until I conquer, until I prove every doubt wrong, wake up, grind, repeat, again, until you win. When you're overwhelmed by suffering, when chaos has entered your life, and you can't see a way out, it's tempting to give up. But I want you to remember something. It is not over until you win. Life is suffering. That is a fundamental truth. But it is also filled with meaning. And if you orient yourself properly, if you aim at the highest good you can conceptualize, you can withstand the burden of existence. Even in your worst moments, you must stand up voluntarily, shoulder the responsibility and say, this will not destroy me. People collapse because they lose hope. But meaning is what sustains us through suffering. You don't need to be free of pain. You need to be committed to something so meaningful that the pain becomes bearable. When you fall, the world doesn't care. But you must get back up. You must rebuild order from the chaos. You must choose to climb even when the hill gets steeper. Do not compare yourself to who someone else is today. Compare yourself to who you were yesterday and ask, did I move forward even a little? When life tells you you can't, your response should be, I must. The archetypal hero doesn't succeed because things are easy. He succeeds because he confronts the dragon, enters the unknown, and transforms. So when you feel like quitting, don't, because your story is still being written. It is not over until you win. You're done. No, you're not done. You don't stop when you're tired. You stop when you're finished. You stop when the mission's complete. Listen, life's going to push you to your edge. It's going to knock you down so hard you forget who you are. But you got to remember why you started. Remember the dream. This ain't the time to back up. This ain't the time to let go. This is the time to lock in. Because winners don't fold, they don't break, they build. When I was homeless, I didn't have a plan B. It was win or die trying. I said, Eric, you better turn this pain into purpose. And that's what I did. When people quit on you, keep going. When nobody believes in you, keep going. When life says it's over, you say, not until I win. You've come too far to turn back now. You've sacrificed too much to let it all go. This is your moment. And don't you let pain take that from you. Don't you let fear hold you hostage. Push past the pain. Work through the tears. Fight through the silence. It's going to get hard. But that's the process. You're being forged. You're being refined. You're becoming unstoppable. So speak this out loud. It's not over until I win, until I conquer, until I prove every doubt wrong. Wake up, grind, repeat again, until you win. Let me ask you something. Do you believe that you were created for a purpose? Do you believe there's a reason you're still here? Still breathing, still pushing? Because if you do, then quitting is not an option. You see, purpose doesn't quit on you. Calling doesn't back down. The vision you've been given, that fire inside your soul, it came from God. And it didn't come with an expiration date. You might be delayed, but you're not denied that struggle you're going through. It's not there to break you. It's there to build you, to prepare you for what's coming. I teach people how to turn ideas into income, but I always remind them the first transformation happens on the inside, because wealth isn't about what's in your bank. It's about what's in your belief. You've got to believe you're called to win. Even when the world calls you a failure, you've got to believe the test is not a punishment, it's a preparation. You've got to walk in authority. Speak to the mountain, command it to move. And when it doesn't move right away, you keep pushing, you keep praying, you keep showing up, because it's not over until you win. And win doesn't mean it's easy. Win doesn't mean it comes quick. Win means you endured. Win means you stayed faithful. Win means you looked every obstacle in the face and said, you will not defeat me. So I'm telling you right now, with every ounce of conviction I've got, don't you stop. Don't you fold. Don't you give up on what God put inside of you. When the warrior walks the path, he is not seeking comfort. He is seeking truth. He is seeking mastery over self. You may feel tired. Life may seem impossible, but I want you to understand the pain you feel is not the end. It is the beginning. The beginning of growth, the beginning of discipline, the beginning of transformation. You must continue not because it is easy, but because it is necessary. In the Shaolin tradition, we train our bodies, but we also train our minds. We learn to sit with discomfort. We learn to listen to the silence within. And in that silence, you will hear the voice that says, keep going. Quitting is a habit. So is perseverance. You must ask yourself, which habit are you building today? The path of the monk, of the warrior, of the master. It is long and painful, but every fall, every failure, every bruise, it builds the spirit. When you lose, you learn. When you suffer, you grow. And when you stand again, after falling, you become unshakable. Your goal is not just to win, your goal is to become worthy of the victory. So breathe, be still, and remember this is not your final form. As long as your heart beats, as long as you can take one more step, your story is not finished. You may be facing something right now that looks impossible. Maybe it's your finances, your health, your relationships. And I know it hurts. I know you feel tired. I've been there. But let me tell you something, it's not over. When I was living in my car, broke, hungry, sleeping in hotels or not sleeping at all, I still had the dream. And what kept me going? I knew deep down God didn't bring me this far to leave me. That vision you've got, that gift inside you, that's not a coincidence. That's divine. But if you want it, you got to fight for it. Faith without works is dead. That means you got to show up. You got to keep pushing even when it doesn't make sense. Even when nobody's clapping. Even when everything in you says it's over. Because it ain't over. Not for you. Not if you're still breathing. God is still in control. And just because it looks bad now, doesn't mean the story ends like this. Sometimes the darkest part of the night comes right before the sunrise. Don't you give up. Don't you throw in that towel. The struggle is preparing you. The pain is shaping you. The delay is developing you. You're not being punished, you're being positioned. So speak life into yourself. Say it with boldness. It's not over. Not until I win. Your breakthrough is coming. Stay in the fight. Every single person hits a breaking point. That moment where nothing's working and you feel like giving up. But I need you to hear me loud and clear. It's not over until you win. See, most people stop because they confuse failure with finality. But failure is never the end. It's feedback. It's life asking you, how bad do you really want this? Are you willing to pay the price, to face the pain, to keep showing up? The winners, the ones who change the world, they decide that no matter what happens, they are going to find a way. You may not control the events of your life, but you absolutely control what they mean. You can take your pain, your rejection, your heartbreak, and turn it into fuel, into focus, into fire. When it hurts, when it's heavy, that's not your cue to quit. That's your invitation to rise. Change happens when you stop negotiating with your limits and raise your standard. When you stop saying, I'll try, and start saying, I must. You've got something powerful inside of you, but you don't find it in comfort. You find it when you're stretched, when you're tested, when you've got nothing left but the decision to keep going. Decide right now, no matter how long it takes, no matter how hard it gets, I will not stop until I win. Because victory belongs to the relentless. It's not over. Not even close. It's not over until you win. You want to quit? Good. That's where it starts. See, everybody wants to win when it's easy, when it's sunny out, when they're motivated. But when you're broken, when life has smashed your face into the dirt, that's when the real ones are made. I've been there. I've had nights where I couldn't walk, where my body screamed to stop, but I didn't stop. You know why? Because I hadn't won yet. Pain is the greatest training partner you'll ever meet. It doesn't lie. It shows you who you really are. And most people, they run from it. They hide. But winners, we embrace it. You think it's over because you failed once 10 times? Try failing 1,000 times and still getting up every morning saying, I'm not done. It's not about talent. It's about the savage mentality, the grind, the obsession. People say, Goggins, how'd you do it? I say, I stayed in the fight. Period. You don't stop because you're tired. You stop when you've conquered it. You stop when you've dominated every excuse, every weakness, every doubt. You say you want to be great, then act like it, bleed for it, hurt for it, keep going no matter what, because this fight ain't over. Not for you, not today. It's not over until you win. There is a principle that governs all success, and it is this. You are the master of your fate, the captain of your soul. Every man and woman who has risen from defeat to greatness has understood that defeat is never failure unless you accept it as such. The trials you face, the setbacks you suffer, they are not signs that you are done. They are signals that you are being prepared. When life knocks you down, do not interpret it as punishment. Interpret it as preparation. For within every adversity lies the seed of an equal or greater benefit. But the seed must be found and it must be nurtured. The most successful individuals, the ones who have accumulated not only wealth but influence, purpose, and peace, each of them faced trials that would have broken a lesser soul. But they refused to accept defeat as final. They made the decision deep and irrevocable that they would not stop until they had won. Let me remind you, success always begins in the same place, with a burning desire. Not a wish, not a hope, but a white-hot, all-consuming desire, a definiteness of purpose so intense that no opposition, no criticism, no failure could shake it. If your desire to win is not stronger than your fear of loss, then you will fall at the first obstacle. But if you possess the kind of desire that cannot be extinguished, then you will discover what I call the hidden power of persistence. You must persist through fatigue, through loneliness, through doubt. There is no other way. Temporary defeat is not permanent failure. It is merely life's way of asking, how badly do you want it? And your answer must be badly enough to keep going. Badly enough to learn the lesson. Badly enough to rise from the ashes of every failed attempt and go forward stronger. The mind is the battleground. And the moment you truly decide that quitting is not an option, you activate forces within you and around you that begin to move. You don't need to see the entire staircase. Just take the next step with faith. It is not over until you win, because life does not close the door on those who keep knocking. Think of Thomas Edison. 10,000 failed experiments. 10,000. Yet he did not say, I have failed. He said, I have found 10,000 ways that do not work. And because he would not quit, because he persisted, the world was given the electric light, the power of decision, the power of desire, the power of never giving up. These are not motivational cliches. These are universal laws of success. If you have fallen, good. Now rise. Stronger, smarter, more determined. If they laughed at your dream, good. Let it fuel you. Let it drive you. If they told you it's impossible, good. Let that be your invitation to prove them wrong. Do not speak of limitations. Speak only of possibilities. Say to yourself, I will not surrender. I will not shrink. I will not turn back, because this dream was placed in my heart for a reason. A man who knows what he wants and is willing to pay the price is unstoppable. He does not wait for opportunity, he creates it. He does not beg for a chance, he becomes the reason for change. Do not look to others to confirm your belief. You must believe first. When belief becomes action and action becomes discipline, the world yields. When others sleep, you work. When others complain, you create. When others quit, you rise. They turn back right before the breakthrough because they do not know. They do not understand that pain is part of the process, that uncertainty is part of growth, that the darkest hour truly is just before dawn. If you could only see the success waiting just on the other side of your next step, you would never stop. So I'm here to tell you, keep going. There is power in you that you have not yet tapped. There is greatness in you that you have not yet expressed, but you must endure. You must believe, you must act, and you must refuse to accept anything less than victory.